You're listening to The Greater Loop, a podcast from the F1rst Council of Greater Houston. In each episode, we bring to you leaders who connect Houston to the world, from business to diplomacy, innovation to impact. This is where global conversation begins. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to the F1rst Council podcast, The Greater Loop. It's my honor today to have Jorge Franz with us. He is the Senior Vice President of Tourism and Industries at F1rst. Jorge, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I love the opportunity to be on.
Well, it's a great secret that we have kept here in Houston. Tell us a little bit about F1rst.
Well, F1rst has a variety of responsibilities, as you know, Marianne. And I'll tell you that number one, we act as the official destination marketing organization for the city of Houston, right? So, in that capacity, we promote the city as a great place to visit. Unlike our friends over at the Greater Houston Partnership, who are trying to bring business to come here, who are trying to get people to move their businesses to Houston, we are really more concerned with people coming into the city and visiting for conventions or for leisure purposes or to bring corporate meetings or events and that type of thing. Those individuals, when they come, do an enormous amount of spending and create an enormous amount of economic impact on our city. To the tune of over $26 billion a year. So that is the visitor economy, as we like to refer to it, and that is the primary function of F1rst. Secondly, we manage a variety of city assets, including the George R. Brown Convention Center. We manage the theaters in the theater district. We manage parking lots, about 11,000 parking spots in downtown Houston, and we own the Hilton Americas Hotel. Lastly, we also manage a variety of brands. So when you think of things like visithouston.com, F1rst manages that brand. It talks directly to the consumer. We also manage holahouston.com, which is a Spanish language website and social media outlets that help us to talk directly to Spanish speaking audiences around the world. And a variety of other things. So in general, that is what we do. It's a lot, but it's a big responsibility because we're here to essentially bring in more visitors to the city and promote this city as the great international city that it is.
And as it is the international city that you mentioned, we get a lot of delegations, I know, into our city, which is fabulous and wonderful. Some of them business-oriented, some of them tourism-oriented. Tell us what a day in the life of a senior VP of Tourism and Industries does. What do you do all day?
Primarily I'm out there working with the businesses that help to book travel to Houston. I have three big responsibilities as a part of my job. So one is to work B2B to C, which is essentially working with the companies that sell leisure travel all over the world that have the potential to sell that travel to Houston. So think Expedia, but then thinking tour operators, travel agencies, and that type of business that where they sell travel to consumers, right? So we ensure that A, they have the know-how of what Houston has to offer. B, that we provide marketing resources so they can sell it directly to those consumers. And we also are trying to create marketing campaigns that will bring those individuals into our city. We do this a lot in Mexico, for example, but our top markets in order are Mexico, Canada, the UK. India has now really popped up as a big market for Houston, which I think is surprising for a lot of folks. Germany, France, Holland, Brazil, those are other markets that are obviously in the mix. Secondly, I oversee the Houston Film Commission, which is tasked with bringing major feature film and feature film feature television, scripted television programs into the city and to come in and actually produce them here in Houston, creating jobs for Houston. And lastly, I do industry relations, which allows me to represent the company on boards, on a variety of association boards for the industry and others. So those are sort of the three areas that I oversee here at F1rst.
That's a lot. That's a lot of area. And who knew that we were an attraction for filmmakers? You never know.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen Mo, it's a Netflix television show, which has now done 2 seasons here in Houston. It's about Mo Amer, who's a comedian. Many of you may know who he is. And he tells his story of immigrating to Houston and his experiences in Houston. It's a very truthful look at our city, a very funny show. But I'll tell you, we're working on a variety of others to come and film into the city. We just launched a new incentive program to attract people to come into our city that is building on top of the major incentive program that was just recently launched by the state of Texas to attract more production into the city.
Well, I love Mo. I've seen him, and he is hilarious. So I look forward
I
to
love that. That's great.
seeing that. So, Jorge, Houston is a global city. We have a strong energy, aerospace, healthcare, trade, all these sectors. When we're engaging with our international partners and these global events, tell us from the global affairs context, what difficulties, challenges do you have when you're working across industries and partners?
I will say that in terms of difficulty, I don't find a lot of difficulty. Houston, I don't believe that Houston suffers from an image problem under any stretch of the imagination. I just think that people sometimes don't know what there is in Houston. And I think it's upon us as Houstonians to continue to do the job, which is really on all of us, to talk well about our city. I think a lot of times folks, you ask people here in Houston, people that work here in Houston, what do you think about Houston? Oh, well, it's hot, right? Or perhaps it's the traffic's terrible, and then you say, how long you lived here? Well, they say 23 years, and I really love it, and it's great quality of life, and they it's almost like they say the good stuff second, right? And I genuinely believe that if we could switch that script here in Houston, and we started with, hey man, this is the fourth largest city in the United States. We're home to Space Center Houston and America's space program, and we are home to one of the largest museum districts in the nation, and we love theater and ballet and opera and symphony here in Houston, and we're one of only 5 cities that has all that. We're a Michelin city now, so we're getting Michelin-starred restaurants in our city. Be passionate about what this city has to offer, because I do believe that we can compete with the top 3. I tell people all the time, it's it's New York, LA, Chicago, then Houston, right? And we have absolutely everything that those top 3 cities have. And I feel we can compete on that level. So when I think about the challenges, it is the challenges of all of us as Houstonians speaking and promoting our city the way a New Yorker or somebody from Chicago might, right, about their city.
Mm-hmm. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but from a global affairs perspective, what do you think Houston's future is in the international arena?
In the international arena, Houston's already there. I think Houston's doing a much better job than some of our counterparts here in the United States. I mean, we've already got 24 Fortune 500 companies that have presence here, an incredibly strong consular corps that is really helping to connect to almost 90 countries around the world, just slightly over 90 countries around the world. We are known as a place that's easy to do business here in Texas. All of our friends out in the community know that. But we just need to continue to tell that story. I mean, I just joined the Greater Houston Partnership on a mission in Taiwan and Japan. And guess what? We were talking about this. This is a city with no state tax, right? Taxes are low for business, if not non-existent in some cases. And we're business friendly states. So that is what makes us very attractive. What I tell people all the time is, it's easy to bring your business here. There's also plenty of reasons to bring your family here, right? This is a great place to raise a family. Housing is affordable. We have people from all over the world. We have more than 140 languages spoken in Houston. So you're going to be accepted here. One of the marketing campaigns that we do, because we're tasked with marketing the city as a great place to visit, it's a line that says basically, in Houston, you're one of us. And I here at Houston First, we really believe that. Like, it doesn't matter where you're from here. You can come here and do what you want to do and make it, have that American dream. So we stand firmly by that. The other one we live by, another marketing campaign that you've seen us put out lately too, is the power of together. And in that sense, we do believe that in Houston, there's less of a chance that people are going to fight each other based on competitiveness and so forth. It's a town where you really see people come together a lot through cross industry. It is not hard for me and Marianne to come together and bring a bunch of our friends from corporate public sector and to move forward towards a common goal. That's why we're hosting the World Cup next year. It's why we're hosting the World Baseball Classic, because we can put our minds to big things and make them happen here in Houston. So I genuinely believe that.
So Jorge, when you talk to people all across the world, what do you say is Houston's main selling point? What attracts them here?
If I have to look at it from a leisure point of view, it's always Space Center Houston. It's NASA, right? People have heard of it, they know it, and I think it's truly what makes us unique, right? I mean, this is the home to America's space program. This is the only place in the world where you can see mission control, the historic mission control, and it's where the International Space Station is still managed to right now, today, to this very day, right? And so it's where the next lunar mission is being planned. It is where the Mars mission, when that happens, is being planned, right? So that's exciting stuff. I think that's the most well-known thing, but I will tell you that, things that I also hear about, the Texas Medical Center, people travel, they know when they've got to seek medical care, that this is a great place to visit. Increasingly, we're being known for being a city that is a foodie destination. I think that Michelin has helped a lot with that. And we will continue to pursue that because we do feel we have a strong culinary scene in Houston. I will say that air access into our city, people are beginning to understand it. More than 180 nonstop flights into Houston from all over the world. That is crucial to being a successful international city, and we definitely have it.
Absolutely. And kind of looking ahead, when you imagine Houston in the next decade on the global stage, what excites you most?
In the next decade, I will tell you that I'm excited about the World Cup. Obviously, I think that there's not 7 games. We're going to have a round of 16 game on the 4th of July, which is America's 250th birthday. So I think that day is going to be pretty cool. We are working right now on the expansion of the George R. Brown Convention Center. That is going to be exciting because it's going to allow us to bring more international meetings into Houston. It is going to be a very modern build for the convention center. It's going to have a very modern look. Eventually, the rest of the convention center will be modernized as well. Our goal is to have the first phase of this expansion of the convention center ready by August of 2028 for the Republican National Convention. And then from there start to rebuild on what is the older convention center. So that's exciting, because that will bring more life to East Downtown. It'll change the face of what Houston looks like. The Texas Department of Transportation is working to put a cat park right behind the convention center, which will depress I-69 behind the convention center. So that whole area is going to be transformed. And in 10 years, you won't even recognize East Downtown. I mean, it'll be a totally different story for Houston. And it's one of the reasons I've been doing what I do for so long. It's just this city just continues to reinvent itself all the time. And I think that will continue to happen.
So, Jorge, you've traveled all around the world. I'm sure you've seen some sights and sounds and all kinds of things. What is one thing that you were inspired by in visiting another city that you might want to bring home to Houston?
Yeah, I just got back from Japan, and I have to say that public transportation in Japan is outstanding. The multi-level subway systems in Tokyo were inspiring. I mean, 10, 12 floors underground. I mean, really amazing stuff. But if I had to narrow it down to one thing, I think bullet trains. Bullet train technology, which allows you to move from about 185 miles an hour and all this. I think that's amazing stuff. And I think we have a strong public transportation system here in Houston. And the light rail is going to allow people during the World Cup to move between the stadium and the theater district and the museum district and all this other stuff. But I think we need more of that, right? And the more we can become a city that provides great public transportation, the more successful we'll be.
I agree. And what's something that our listeners might be surprised to learn about your work or the work at Houston First?
I think that for my work, I'm I tell people all the time, I think Houston has a much better reputation outside of the United States than it does in the United States. I travel all over the world. I've been very lucky. I've been doing this for almost 25 years, and I'm constantly surprised by how well people, whether that be in Brazil or in the UK or even in China or in Japan, that sometimes our business people know Houston, and they appreciate the value that our city has to bring. So I love that, and I think that is the coolest thing about Houston. In terms of my job, I for years I have spent a lot of time speaking directly to media. I don't know that a lot of people know that, and I do media interviews. I do interviews just like this one, but sometimes I do them on television, sometimes I do them online, sometimes radio with influencers. And I love doing that because it allows me to speak to broad audiences about what Houston has to offer as a destination. So that's exciting stuff. I want everybody to know that if they don't take anything away from this, is that Houston First is really out there promoting Houston as a modern, dynamic, and very international city, and that we're going to continue to do that. Our job is to ensure that people think of Houston in a positive way, and we will continue to move forward in that effort and make sure that we get more visitors, because we want everybody to think Houston before they think any other big American city in the United States. We want to be that top destination, and we think we'll get there.
So Jorge, if someone wanted to know more about Houston First or Houston, where do they go?
Well, I tell people all the time, Houston First is the company. Houston First Corporation is the company. You can go to houstonfirst.com for that, and you'll get all the information you need about our company, doing business with our company, and latest corporate news and that type of thing. But if you're looking for fun stuff to do, we also manage visithouston.com, and we get millions of people from not only around the world, but also here locally, who might go on there to find out what's going on this weekend at the theater district, what's happening in the museums. Where can I find out what's going on this weekend? We have a great events calendar on visithouston.com. So if you're looking for anything on what to do, that is the place to go. If you only speak Spanish, and it's holahouston.com. We also manage that out of our office here. And I tell people all the time, that is the best place. If you're not following us, please make sure you follow Houston First on LinkedIn. But then follow Visit Houston on Facebook, on Instagram, and others, right? Because we're constantly pushing out news on what there is to do in Houston, and I get that question a lot. I get when people, especially in the corporate sector, man, what is there to do in Houston? What is there to do in Houston? And the truth is, there's a million things to do in Houston. I think sometimes we get a little complacent about exploring our own city, or sometimes we forget that we have gems in this city. I don't know that there is a bad steakhouse in Houston. I'm convinced we have the best steaks in the world. But I mean, you can also go to Musafir, a Michelin star restaurant that's located right in the Galleria, or you can go check out coming up soon, the Frida Kahlo exhibit over at the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston. The Terracotta Warriors are coming to the Museum of Natural Science, Houston. It's really important that we keep ourselves updated on what is happening in our city, and you can do that on visithouston.com. So check it out.